أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Today we're going to discuss another very important topic. So the question is this: I know that all the evidences you're bringing up about the existence of God makes a lot of sense, but isn't there still a very, very, very small possibility that everything in the universe has been created by itself? Isn't there a possibility? Yes, there is a possibility, but would that affect our knowledge? Would it affect our belief that there is a creator? Let's go deeper on this. So I actually had this question a few weeks ago in a small fair, in a book fair that we participated. A person came. He was a Swedish young boy. He told me that all the clarifications you're doing, all the examples that you're giving, all make sense, but still, isn't there that very, very little possibility that everything was created by itself? And this is the answer that we're going to read from the book, The Flashes from the Risale Nur collection by Bediüzzaman. Let's see how he explains this topic. As for the question of doubts in belief, possibilities that are essentially possible are not opposed to the certainty of belief and do not harm it. One of the established rules of it, the science of the principles of religion, is that something which is of itself possible is not opposed to the certainty afforded by knowledge. For example, just because something is essentially possible doesn't make it reasonably possible. I asked the young guy what he's doing. He said that he's a musician. And I told him, you have notes in a certain piece of song. Do you have songs which are unanimous, which are not, where the maker is not known, the one who made the notes? And he said there are many songs, but are they being attributed to causes and nature or coincidence, or do musicians say, there must be a person behind this song, but we don't know who he is? Of course, he said that there are some people who did it, but we don't know who that person is because it's very old. But you don't see anybody claiming that these song parts have been done by itself. Why? Just because it's essentially possible. I told him, is it not possible that all these songs were made by itself? And he said, yes, it is possible. But why is not reasonably possible to you? He said, of course, an intelligent human being involvement is clearly seen. So he said that it is possible essentially, but nobody's arguing that a human being actually made that song. For example, we are certain that Barla Lake, it's a lake that this author was living nearby, is in its place consisting of water, whereas it is of itself possible that the lake sank into the ground this moment. Its so sinking is within the bounds of possibility. But since this essential possibility does not arise from any indication, it cannot be a reasonable possibility and so cause doubt. So it's essentially possible that a lake that the author was living nearby might have, after a very terrible earthquake, has disappeared. There is a possibility right now. But why are we not calling our family members living nearby and saying, well, did this earthquake happen or not? We are not, because just because it's essentially possible doesn't make us concerned without any indication or any proof. So that little part is important. If there is an indication, if there is a proof behind that possibility, then it can be given importance. Then the value can be given. So in a different part of Risale Nur, the author says, a principle of the sciences of theology and jurisprudence is this, that a probability not originating from any indication or sign has no importance, as long as a possibility doesn't arise from an indication or a proof. No importance can be given. It cannot induce doubt in a matter that is definite. It cannot shake the certainty that is based on sound judgment. So he gives the same example of Barla Lake being present. But isn't it possible for that lake to just diminish right now? Yes, it is. But since that possibility does not originate from an indication, it does not affect our certain knowledge or induce doubt in the fact that it consists of water. So may Allah protect, but we have, let's say, many family members in Japan. There is a possibility right now, a terrible earthquake has happened. May Allah protect. There is a possibility that it has just happened and the whole country of Japan is gone and everybody's dead. But I'm not calling my family members being worried, because there is no indication or evidence behind it. Yes. But since this essential possibility does not arise from any indication, it cannot be a reasonable possibility and so cause doubt. For another established rule of the principle of religion is, a possibility that does not arise from any proof or evidence is of no importance. That is, an essential possibility which does not arise from any sign cannot be a reasonable possibility, and so cause doubt and warrant importance. I've actually seen a person where, after listening all these evidences about belief in God, he said, okay, it makes sense, but there's also this theory of multi-universes. Like, there are billions and billions and billions of different universes, which only this one is the perfect one. All the other ones are just failed examples. He said that, isn't there a possibility that all these universes exist? And I told him, yes, there is a possibility, but do you have any evidence? He said, no. As long as you don't have any evidence, I'm not here listening to all kinds of possibilities. And the reasonable judgment, logical mind, is always against these claims which are not arising from judgments. You know, people are finding remainings of the past people. Let's say one of the examples is think of a painting on a cave which dates back to history, and scientists go there and examine that painting. Let's say it's a painting of a lion, and they calculate with their own methods that how many years has it passed since it was drawn, and they say 10,000 years ago this painting was drawn, and this is an evidence that people have lived in this cave. Have they seen those people? No. But how do they know that people existed? Because of the painting. Painting is enough evidence for human involvement. But isn't it possible for coincidence to interfere? Could it be other animals who draw that painting? Could it be rocks colliding because of the wind and drawing that beautiful shape? There is a possibility. But according to science, according to the science of history, that the only possible explanation is human involvement. Just the painting, which is an artistic work of art, that art indicates a smart being's involvement, and that's an evidence. Just because there is a possibility, it doesn't change our minds. But what about the real lion, which is more complex, more designed, more measured, more balanced? Does it not require a much smarter being's involvement? Which I can't create a lion. Other animals can't create a lion, but it has to be a much smarter being's involvement. Just because a possibility of coincidence existing doesn't change my mind. Yes. Thus, the unfortunate man, exposed to those satanic whisperings, supposes that due to such essential possibilities, that he has lost his certain belief in the truths of belief. For example, numerous essential possibilities about the human aspects of the noble prophet, upon whom be blessings and peace, occur to him which cause no harm to the certainty of his belief, but he supposes that they have done so and suffers harm. So you can actually use this kind of logic in every kind of situation. And this topic actually starts off by saying this is one of the most dangerous vials of the Satan. So we should be careful of how we use our logic and intelligence. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة.